a little bit more biased towards these little pieces. It's hot, but it's really, really good.
Folks, welcome home. Another issue of Flash in the Pan, Cooking with Blondes. We got Kal back in the house today.
Hey.
And we are going to do some piri piri mushrooms. These are primarily oyster mushrooms with some black pearl as well. So these big, lofty, fluffy things, if you can kind of imagine, almost look oyster-like if you're opening up the shell. And that's kind of the look that you got going on here. And these little guys over here are black pearls, and they're not black. They're just incredibly flavorful and yummy little bites of goodness.
Thick stems here.
Stems are okay. I'm going to work with those too. Because some stems I don't like to eat, like shiitakes, are just too tough and chewy. These I think
These
work
ones
out.
are okay, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to begin with some of the piri piri. And this is one of those products that I manufacture and we sell in all sorts of places. Don't happen to have a bottle online right now. Bad me. So just the piri piri, and because of the nature of the beast with mushrooms, they are going to absorb some of this oil. So we're going to start out with a little heavier amount. What we're going to do with these is I'd like you to take these little guys here, and with the stems on, I just want you to cut them right through the stem. So long and thin and small little pieces like that.
Okay.
And these came from which farm?
It was Crystal Lake Mushrooms in Crystal Lake, Illinois. So very local. They actually just grow right out of their house. They have a grow room. It's just a couple that does it. It's really cool. And every single week they're cultivating different types of mushrooms that are available to the public. And they're really popular in Illinois, where I am originally from. That's how I know about them. But here, I haven't been able to find exotics, so I had to travel back home a little bit for this, but I think that it's totally worth it.
Very cool. We do have a local guy up here named Mushroom Mike.
Oh.
And he works some of the farmers market circuits.
We'll have to make acquaintances with Mushroom Mike.
Sure, we'll bring him in for one of these things one fine day. In the meantime, what I'd like to do, Kal, is I like to take the small blacks and that we've cut up in these smaller pieces and toss them in our oil. And piri piri, I mean, for people who ask me, piri piri is the most versatile product that we make at Shakers and part of the Bob-a-loos line. It's been out since the late 80s, but really my inspiration of this has been Portugal. As the Portuguese were the first to really explore the world, and they literally circumnavigated everywhere, they were astute enough to pick up different cooking and cultural styles in different places that they went to. So we got this part that's got just a little bit more of that oil in there, right?
Oh, that looks good.
And that's just going to continue to cook down and move those up there. And take these larger pieces, get ourselves a little bit blast of piri piri, which has a extra virgin olive oil for a base. And we can just do this. You can dance with it a little bit like that. And kind of layer it up.
Exciting. I want to take a bath in this.
Well, maybe not this hot oil, but the oil, sure, just not this hot. Maybe one or two more. And I'm going to back the heat down a little bit. Now, if you have a leek, this would be really nice with leek. But the reality is, I'm just going to lay this over some spring greens, and it's just going to be marvelous. You got the contrast of the cold greens. You got this that's hot. It's kind of chewy, kind of nutty, kind of like everything you want. And if you be so kind as to kind of work the stuff up a little bit so you get full touch with the oil onto the crowns and around, and all the little stemmy portions, that would be really appreciated. Thank you.
So you made this for me a couple days ago when you were testing it out, and it was so good. Like the meaty texture that you get, especially from these bigger guys and the stems, so good. And then you get the little bit of grizzle from the pan and the oil. It's amazing. Definitely just what I needed that day.
Well, that's of course why we're here.
Want to get some more of that crispiness in here.
Now the thing I did for you on, I think that was Saturday, is I took a little bit of coffee powder as well on the backside.
Oh, okay.
And take just a little bit of this. So we have this marvelous Italian espresso in-house that we use. And I like to do this on steaks as well. And in my mind, there's a real affinity as far as the texture of steak and of mushrooms done just like this.
Totally. Ooh, yum. I didn't even notice that you had put those espresso grounds on it when you made that for me.
How about that?
Just a little bit goes such a long way.
It does, it does, it does. So while Kal is doing that, I'm going to take an orange and I'm just going to cut this guy and drizzle lightly the juice of the fresh orange over the greens and a little dollop of extra virgin olive oil on here. And a little bit of salt and pepper. So again, as the Portuguese left Portugal and they found themselves down in Africa as they're heading south, they stopped off in Angola, which became a former crown county of Portugal. But while there, they discovered these little pili pili, these little peppers, hot chili peppers. So they took them with them everywhere, and they called this a piri piri oil once they married it with Portuguese olive oil. And a few miscellaneous spices. Obviously garlic is a big leader on there. And just the flavors are so profound. You can do anything with that. You can saute with it. You can put this on your croissant in the morning. You can do absolutely everything. It's marvelous. And naturally, it's certainly certifiable for you as a vegan to eat as well. So I'd like you to arrange these things now, and they're really dynamic. So I like these big stalks. So I probably do is I take two of these big guys, and I might layer them on top like that. So you know what you're in for. And these I might have just some others on the side. And those you can fill around the entire perimeter.
Beautiful.
But this should just be, this is really fast. Again, flash of the pan. We're doing things that are 10 minutes or less here, and it's one pan cooking, and it's dynamic, marvelous flavors, and incredibly nutritious, and good for you, and the type of thing that you're not going to get either from that meal service, and you're certainly not going to get from the takeout of the burger place down the block.
Definitely not.
Now the big reveal is going to be in a moment when Kal actually sticks some of this into her lovely mouth and chews and tells us what she thinks about it.
I can already tell you it's going to be fantastic. A little bit more biased towards these little pieces. It's hot, but it's really, really good.
So you get a little push of the chili pepper that's there, you get that garlic that's there, you get some of those Mediterranean spices, obviously from Portugal it's there, but it's not overly hot, it just should be enough to bring out the natural flavors, the natural goodness, and then you've got that incredible nutty kind of texture, and then you've got that kind of beefy kind of texture.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, really, really fantastic.
Next.
Really good.
Next is going to be something else. We'll do another one of the vegan dishes here. We use eggplant, and we're going to use Cuban apples with that. That'll be fun. But in the meantime, if you have the opportunity to make something fun for your family at home, they're not expecting mushrooms just like this. They could be shiitakes, they could be portobellos, they could be chanterelles, they could be almost anything, right?
Yeah.
Even whites. And just knock it out like this. It's fast, it's easy, and it's good for you.
But if you can get your hands on mushrooms like this, you should definitely try and do that.
Absolutely. And/or see us at Shakers.
Yeah.
Folks, look forward to seeing you soon. Be good to yourselves and the people you love. Cheers.
Take care.